The Giants playing the Dodgers. Andy Lang, after that late minute call in, Andy's got 3 prop bets for us. 1 in NBA, 1 in golf. And yes, I had to text Andy and ask him what the hell is PFL. He's got a huge dog for us in the Professional Fighting League. Dave Sharapan at the end of the show. Teddy's Big Game Breakdown. I'm freezing cold. Let's get on with it. You're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Steve Merrill, thank you for hosting last week. I need you to host next Thursday and Friday. Just giving you a heads up. Welcome to the show.
Book it. Book it.
It's booked.
Yeah, that means that next Thursday and Friday, our viewer numbers will go up. Steve will be the fill-in host. Steve, let's start with some NBA for tonight. Down the stretch, the association still offers all kinds of betting opportunities. If you're paying attention, there's money to be made. Right now, the Thunder minus 5.5, 224.5 the total at Philadelphia. A bunch of books just took this off the board. Something must be happening injury-wise. Maybe it's Tyrese Maxey, who was questionable. Joel Embiid, there was some thought he might come back tonight. I believe he was downgraded to out already, but Philadelphia could be getting some guys back. Like I said, the number's down right now at a handful of books. Talk to me. Thunder, Sixers, 5.5, 224.5. Who do you like, and why do you like them?
Yeah, Teddy, kind of big picture. I wanted to talk about this game because, as you mentioned, there have been rumblings. I did the NBA tip-off show yesterday on Monday with Joe Ranieri and Brian Power, and we talked about Embiid might be back tonight, and that was actually the poll question for the Monday show was, do the Sixers have a good chance if he's back come playoff time? And about 70% of the viewers yesterday liked the Sixers' chances with Embiid back for the postseason. He's ruled out, so he's not going to be back tonight. A big picture, though, I just want to let people know when he returns, if it's this later this week, perhaps. I'd be very cautious with the Sixers in those first handful of games. This is a team that was obviously terrible without him for a month or two. They've learned to play without him now over the past month. Yes, they were just 2-5 up their last 7, but they've covered 4 of their last 5 games. And going back deeper, they're now 6-2-1 against the spread the last 9. So even though I think he's maybe the most important player to any team, that's why he was MVP. If you look at his on and off court ratings, both offensive and defensively, it's almost a 12-point difference per 100 possessions. So I do think they will be a contender if he's healthy come playoff time. But in the near term, it could be a distraction. That's not the case tonight. He's still out. But like you said, this line is jumping around. A lot of uncertainty here. Maxey is questionable as of the 11:30 a.m. Eastern report. And if he is a no-go, I'd be very careful with the Sixers tonight. Right now, the line is still around 5.5. I would lean Oklahoma City Thunder in this game. Now, I know when key players are out, it's been an automatic moneymaker to play the shorthanded team. And yes, maybe OKC overlooks this game after winning in New York on Sunday. And they also have a huge game at Boston tomorrow without rest. So if you're going to play this game, I think the first half would be the safest way to play the Thunder. Get it down to -3. And that's a pretty reasonable number. It's just a little bit more than half of the full game line. So OKC -3 in the first half would be my preferred side with the no-rest situation at Boston tomorrow.
Sure, it makes a ton of sense to pay attention to the fact that there might be a bigger matchup on tap for OKC tomorrow. When it comes to first half, are the Thunder a team that have had a pretty good first half track record? Philly has a bad first half track record, or is this just a way to avoid the, hey, maybe we're looking ahead in the second half of this ballgame if they have a lead?
Yeah, I don't dig too much into like team records with first half, second halves. And to be honest, I very rarely use them. It's more of a situational spot here, the NBA especially. And there's some other spots like that as well tonight. If you look at the card, you got 2 huge favorites in the LA Laker game at Toronto, and then also that Milwaukee game. And the Lakers have a no-rest situation at Washington tomorrow also. So that's another one in which I would probably look at the first half maybe versus the full game just because of the load management. The problem with the NBA, though, as with college basketball with, double-digit favorites especially, is you pay a premium, right? It's kind of factored into the line. You're not getting half of the game points. You're getting, 60, 65% of the line. But when it's a shorter price like this OKC situation, by the way, the Lakers are -7 for the first half in that game at Toronto, 12 for the full game. So you can see it's more than half. Here the line's 5.5. You're only having to lay 3 in the OKC game. So you get a little bit truer 50-50 split, and I think that makes sense in this one.
Steve Merrill joining us. Steve, before we get into your next game, MLB, Giants at Dodgers, what do you got going for our clients today?
I've already posted one NBA best bet. It is a steamroller blowout on one of the evening games tonight, so be sure to check that out. 55-35, 61% this year on NBA sides, ranked number one this season at WagerTalk. And it's not a surprise since I joined WagerTalk 3.5 years ago. I'm number one all time on NBA sides. You know, it's funny. I've seen some tweets recently, people saying the NBA side market is impossible to beat. It's totally random. You have to focus on totals. I won't name who said that. It's a well-known professional bettor. I saw that last week. And boy, I cannot disagree any more than that. The numbers speak for themselves. About 93% of my plays are side selections. I'm 55-35 this year, and I'm number one all time at WagerTalk. In fact, last year alone in the NBA, the calendar year 2023, all plays were 103-63, 29-17 in the playoffs, and now I'm 55-35 this season on sides. So the NBA, you might not enjoy watching it, but it is a fantastic moneymaker. You got to be selective. It's all situational analysis, and I've got a strong play going tonight on Tuesday. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Teddy covers, the real key word there from Steve was obviously. Do you take it as an insult that Steve thinks he's obviously number one over the last 3 years, or is that just?
I don't think that's what I said, Steve? Teddy. I said obviously it's a moneymaker. I don't think I ever said I was obviously number one.
Dan,
but
rewind.
We can watch the videotape.
Rewind. Want to bet? We'll call it an NBA side. You don't lose those. I'm just starting with you, Steve. Man,
no
man.
What I said then.
You did, but it's okay, dude. You are the best at NBA sides. You have been since you joined us. It is always a pleasure to have you on. We know how great you are. What color you consider that shirt? Maroon, burgundy?
It's a dark red. It's got a little black tint in it, so I guess it's a maroon. It's not really maroon. Yeah, maroon. No, if I said that, I misspoke. What I was saying was obviously NBA sides are very beatable, number one all time. That's probably what I said and what order I said it. But I want to make that very clear. I see a lot of people.
I was just kidding.
No, I know you are, but it's a bigger point, though. A lot of people think the NBA is not a beatable sport. I know Teddy would disagree as well. Teddy does extremely well in the NBA. Yes. But you have to be selective, right? I mean, Teddy and I both are not playing 2 or 3 NBA games a night. We're picking our spots. And the majority of these games, 90% of these games, there is no value. And I think that's where people get in over their head with NBA betting. But if you pick your spots, you can do quite well in the NBA. And that was obviously the case as I have crushed it career at WagerTalk.com.
Yeah, and probably – sorry, Teddy, go ahead.
That's all right. You wanted me to ask if I felt insulted by Steve's I'm not insulted. Look, the goal for all of us is when I win and you win and Prez wins and when clients win, they buy more plays. I'm rooting for everybody.
Oh, right? Yeah, of course.
There's nobody I'm like, no, I hope that guy loses. I hope that guy loses. Happy clients make more sales for the entire WagerTalk community. All that being said, my NBA is pretty good, dude.
Yeah, your NBA is
and I'm up 205 units in the NBA since 2022. On a monster run right now. We'll talk about it in a few minutes, but there's certainly the NBA for me was an impossible nut to crack. 10 years, at least 10 years in Vegas that I traded money in the NBA. I lost in the NBA. I'd had a good run, but I couldn't put it together. The experience in the NBA has helped me more than in any other sport. I get this sport now. At least I think I do. And there's no sport that I go into with more confidence than an NBA season.
Teddy, what did you change?
Enough.
What was the biggest change? What did you stop doing? I'm not going to say give away your secrets, but what did you stop doing that was not working back when you were not
I stopped focusing on spots and started focusing on teams. So the exact opposite approach of what you're talking about.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we've talked about that before. Yeah.
I found that when you're trying to jump from team to team and spot to spot, it was very difficult for me. And what I've been able to do is identify undervalued teams and overvalued teams and bet on or against those same teams again and again and again until the marketplace catches up.
Which is it's funny because that's exactly my approach in betting hockey is finding those undervalued teams and staying inside. You know, yesterday you made a great point about staying inside of your lane. That's what I do in hockey, where I Nashville playing Boston tonight, for instance. I don't think I've bet on or against Nashville all year. Same with Boston. So it's really honing in, and we've spoken about this in college basketball many times, honing in on just a few teams, whether it's 10 teams, 5 teams, and really trying to find their rhythm. That's how I approach it. And you looking at it from that perspective, Teddy, where you're trying to find the rhythm of those teams?
I'm looking at all 30. I mean, the NBA is not a huge league. You can focus on 30 teams and pay attention considering what we do in college. So it's not like, I want to bet on the Cleveland Cavaliers in this spot. That's all I'm looking for. I go through every game on the card every single day, and at various points, I'm like, hey, this is a buy team. Hey, this is a sell team. Hey, this is an over team. Hey, this is an under team. When you see those, you look for spots to try to back them in the role that you like them in. Steve, we just got a question in from a live question in from the YouTube
DC Capper.
From DC Capper asking about your opinion on tonight's Indiana State and Georgia game. Right now, looking at the free live WagerTalk odds screen. Indiana State up to 3.5, total 163 against the Indiana State's not playing Georgia. Indiana State's playing Utah, and Seton Hall up to 4.5/5 against Georgia. Any quick opinions on those two games?
Yeah, it's interesting. Two of the teams a lot of people thought were really the two that should have been in the NCAA tournament. They were kind of the first two out. A lot of people thought they would be in. Was obviously Indiana State, one of the most explosive offensive teams in the country. And then when Virginia put up, 11 points at halftime or 14 points at halftime, that play-in game, everyone's like, who would you have rather seen, Indiana State or UVA? And Indiana State, to their credit, did not just kind of toss the towel and, stomp their feet. They've made a run here. And these games are not in Madison Square Garden. They're in Indiana. So they should have a little bit of a home crowd edge here in the field house as well tonight. Explosive offensive team, fun to watch. But the other team also that was at the top of that list was Seton Hall, and they're playing Georgia in that other game. So 2 near misses to the NCAA tournament have turned it on here. And I do like the matchup for Georgia the more I dug into this game yesterday, looking forward to these. But what's interesting about Georgia, we talk about this in the NBA when key players are out. Abdul Rahim has missed the last, 9 games, and Georgia has covered every single game since he went out in early March. And yet this line is still about 2 points higher than I thought it would be normally. So Georgia's a tricky team right now. They have vastly overachieved here, including this NIT run. And Seton Hall also has not played, I believe, a true road game yet in the NIT. So I think the matchup favors Seton Hall, but the line looks a little inflated. And Georgia all of a sudden is playing better without one of their key players.
Steve, let's turn our attention to baseball. The Giants playing the Dodgers tonight. Are you going with a side or a run line, the total? What are you doing in this game?
Well, the first thing that jumps out is whenever you see the Dodgers at just minus 140, minus 145 at home, it catches your attention. And I would venture to bet this will be one of the lowest lines they have all year until September at home. The reason being is because if you check the WagerTalk live odds screen right now, you can still see the Dodgers have an undecided listed starter. And, back in the day when we all started, you never would have had lines on these games, but the sports books put them up. And once again, starting pitchers only go about half the game nowadays anyway, 60% of the game. So it's less of a factor. And speaking of bullpens, Giants bullpen and the Dodgers bullpens have both been awful so far this season. Look, we're looking for a reason maybe for the Dodgers to have an Achilles heel. It's obviously not that offensive lineup. For the most part, it's not the starting pitcher. But the bullpen so far after 7 games does have a 4.9 ERA and a 5.7 ERA in their 6 home games, or 5 home games, rather, if you count the Korea game as one of them. This is a situation in which I think also the Giants are very suspect on offensive. Their offense is okay, but their bullpen is suspect. A 10.0 ERA and a 1.83 whip in 5 games. So, yes, we don't know the pitcher here. It's obviously not going to be an ace for the bullpen. It's going to be more of a bullpen game. I think the over makes some sense here, over the 8 juiced or 8.5 even. Dodgers minus 145 is not a team I want to get in front of at any point in a straight-up win situation, but I think the total to the over has some value here. And obviously LA is an explosive offense, and I think the Giants are capable of getting some runs tonight as well.
Yeah, Steve, listen, Teddy would have a follow-up question, but for some reason he has lost all audio. Do you think the Dodgers and the over are correlated here?
I think a Dodger team total is probably a good look in almost any game this season, to be honest, and I haven't gone back to check what that record is, but just looking at it on the surface here, they've put up 5 runs or more in every game. And now half their games they've had exactly 5, but they've had 6 or more in 4 of those 7, 8 or more in 3 of the 7, and 5 or more in all 7. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to play any game under unless you play the other team under, perhaps. So Dodger team totals over make a lot of sense, and they're going to be a pretty explosive offense. And you just look at some metrics. You can always do left on base plus runs scored and just kind of add them up real quickly. 11-11 the last couple of games is actually low for them, but they had 18 the game before against St. Louis.
Teddy Covers has audio. Teddy, do you want to ask Steve anything, or shall we move him on and get to what did bettors learn? Oh, Teddy has lost his audio again. Steve, this could be a fun show, man. I'm totally good with not having to listen to Teddy. That's for sure.
Why don't I stick around, El Presidente, till he gets his audio back, just in case?
Well, there you go. Why not, Steve? So normally we do what did bettors learn here. I've got some stuff to say. Firstly, I had an absolute disaster of a night last night. And I mean all around. I lost both my baseball plays. One of them was the under in the Baltimore game. Needed 2 outs to cash that. Couldn't get it. Kansas City with a 4th run in the 9th inning. Lost my NHL play. New York Rangers in regulation. Pittsburgh shot the puck 20 times and scored 5. And I lost my NBA game. So tonight I'm expecting a big bounce back night. But even worse than that, every pick I gave out on the presidential address won yesterday. Drives me absolutely bonkers that my free picks are constantly winning, including a plus 160 dog on the Detroit Red Wings. And I pick the wrong pick from my clients. That kills me. And then to end it all, Bitcoin dropped $5,000 to boot. So I'd like to forget April 1st. Johnny also played a great April 1st joke on me last night. He's like, Prez, Marco came up with this incredible idea that you should step away from WagerTalk Today and let Steve Merrill and Andy Lang host it. I think it's a phenomenal plan. Helps with this, that, and the other. I went pale until I realized it was April Fool's. So had a shitty day yesterday all around. And Teddy, that's a quick version of the Slack that Johnny sent me. I mean, he's like, we're going to start a Sports Memo Today show. You're going to host it. We need your face to represent Sports Memo. So we're moving you to Sports Memo Today. Andy and Steve are going to take your spot on WagerTalk Today. And I was like, oh my God. I called Rick instantly and he was just laughing at me. So yeah, thank God Monday is over, brother.
April Fool's. Yeah. Let it come, let it go. This is what I learned last night.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I've been doing this for 26 years full time. And even I do some stuff that's so stupid, it blows my own mind. Sometimes I'm so dumb, it really blows my own mind. You're talking about your struggles yesterday. I know the NBA. I know all 30 teams in the NBA. I know their DNA. I told everyone at the start of March Madness, I'm going to beat NBA in March. And what am I? I'm 10-3 the last 13, 63% since February 1st. So like Phoenix yesterday, I used him as a big game breakdown, wire-to-wire right side winner, had Memphis on my short list. Pistons can't be laying. Was interested in Portland off a 60-point loss. I thought they might show up, and they did. 3 plays in the short list. They go 3-0. Yet somehow, running good in the NBA, and I pass for the clients in the association last night. So MLB is a great start. I went 3-1 the opening weekend, never laying higher than $1.20. But I'm still learning the team's DNA in MLB. All the nuances that I spent the last 6 months learning in the NBA, you're still learning in MLB. So the leans yesterday, well, the short list is great. I like the Cubs, but I didn't want to lay the price. They won an easy early. The Pirates is a dog. I thought they were worthy of a look. Early start, another one that won. Orioles won. They got a run line win even against the KC bullpen. Texas won as a dog at Tampa. The Red Sox blew out the A's. And I kind of like Cincy Philly over. So I don't have hard rules when it comes to MLB, but I've learned things over the years. One of the things, don't fade early season moves to the under. That's one of those rules. And that total got bet down from 9 all the way through 8.5 down to 8. And somehow, all those right sides in baseball, all those right sides of the NBA, the only freaking client play I have last night is that stupid over with Cincy Philly. And it's a wrong side. It's a dud. 2-2 in the 5th, 2-2 in the 6th, 2-2 in the 7th, 2-2 in the 8th. In the 8th, I start thinking in my mind, maybe I can get a miracle extra inning ghost runner over. 2-2 in the 9th. What happens top of the 10th? Cincy, grand slam home run. Now it's 6-2 push. I'll take it. And then Philly gets the meaningless run with 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th on a squibber that doesn't go past the pitcher. 6-3 final. Over cashes. I was stupid as hell yesterday, and I still came away with a W. That's when you know you're running good, Prez. It's been a good couple of weeks. 21-7 now the last 11 days. 35-13 over the last 2.5 weeks. We'll see if we can keep it rolling again tonight. That's what I learned a night ago. Sometimes you're stupid and things work out.
Yeah, Teddy, I'll tell you, man, like nothing drives me crazier than when I'm winning my free bets and my presidential picks and I picked the wrong one for my clients. It annihilates me. I like it's like when I lose my client play, I actually am hoping to lose my free picks too. Kind of. Because it's nice to know that I'm still seeing it right. I mean, Austin Matthews with a goal over in the Leaf game, Winnipeg Jets, New York Islanders, Detroit Red Wings. I mean, I called them all last night, except for my client play. So at least I know I'm still seeing it correctly, and I just picked the wrong play. Andy Lang joining us. And Andy, thanks for joining us. Late minute substitute. And you're also wearing maroon? Is there what's going on today?
It just happened that way. I was like, only winners wear maroon, but that just sounds dumb. So just pure coincidence. That's all.
Yeah, only winners wear maroon. Andy, let's start right off the bat with your prop bet tonight in the NBA. It's in the Utah Jazz game. It's on George. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, Keontae George, he's been going way under his points, rebounds, and assist category. We did this as a free play yesterday. It hit, so we're going right back to it. There's a couple 27.5s out there, so if you're going to play this, shop around. But first off, he's just been shooting the ball pretty bad from the field. 9 straight unders on his PRA. He's been around 32% from the field, not from three-pointer, but just like from the field. And brutal matchup against Cleveland. In the last 10 games, Cleveland is the slowest paced team in the NBA, and they're playing really good defense, especially against guards. They are number 1 the last 30 days in allowing points to point guards, number 7 in points to shooting guards. So it's just a really, really brutal matchup, and he's just not shooting the ball well at all. And the other nice thing about this is the blowout is always in play where the starters can be sitting. This happened against Sacramento where he had 18 points, I believe 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and then just didn't play down the stretch because it was a blowout. So you got a lot of really good things going towards this one. The only concern is his last game, his PRA total was 29.5. It's 26.5. So that moved down by the books. Little cause for concern, but he's still gone under in 9 straight games. So let's look for Keontae George to keep struggling again tonight.
Teddy?
Let me ask you this, because, I mean, he's getting the playing time, he's getting the minutes, he's getting the shot attempts. Isn't this a scenario where even though he's been going under, you're kind of living on borrowed time? But there's some of them where the guy's just not going to, some of these you come on and your concepts impress the hell out of me. This isn't one of them because he's getting the opportunities, and he's just been cold shooting. I'm not saying that as an insult to you. I'm saying this one doesn't, like, some of them, like, oh my God, I got to bet that. This isn't that for me, So it's not, I'm not trying to insult your process. I'm trying to say this is a guy who's, they're making every effort to get Keontae George up to speed and be a valuable contributor for a team they hope to contend for playoffs next year. So it's not a scenario where he's not going to get his opportunities.
Yeah, I'm laughing. Bill Horton in our chat said he just left to go get a maroon shirt.
Yeah.
So shout out to Bill. He's going there. Yeah, it's just the shooting percentage, and if he hasn't been doing it against teams like Sacramento, this is a tall ask for him to do it against Cleveland, who's been locking it down. So yeah, we're rolling the dice that he's going to keep shooting the ball bad, but it's Teddy, it's a bad team. No upside to them whatsoever, and you got a Cleveland team who's playing well and needs to keep racking up the wins. So yeah, we'll just keep playing it. We've hit it a few times in a row, so kind of playing a little bit with house money on this one.
2 dog bets still coming from Andy Lang. The first is on Ludwig Aberg, Valera Texas Open golf season happening. Masters coming up soon. What's going on in this one?
Well, if I could just promote, next week is the Masters, and we have a huge week planned over at Tea Time. I believe we're going to do not 1, but 2 shows. One of them may be live. We'll let everyone know about that, and it's going to be a massive, massive week. We're going to get everyone ready for Masters. That starts next week. This week, however, we get a really nice underdog matchup. Ludwig Aberg over Rory McIlroy, and Aberg is plus money, and I don't get it. Rory McIlroy traditionally does not play the week before the Masters, but he's been bad this year on the PGA Tour, so he is going out there to try and fix something what's going on in his swing. His best finish on PGA Tour is 19th this year, which is absolutely terrible for him. He's been an unbelievably great bet against. This week, he's the number 1 betting favorite. This is a guy that struggles to break into the top 20 right now. His swing isn't great. His putting isn't great. And in this field this week, the number 1 total strokes gained golfer for the season is Ludwig Aberg. And Aberg is a young guy. He's looking to get these wins. Rory McIlroy is going out trying to just get ready for next week. Winning, I don't even think he really cares where he finishes this week. He's obviously got certain things that he's got to work on. This course is a little bit long. Both these guys are long off the tee. But iron play is advantage Aberg. Motivation, I believe, is Aberg. And at plus money, oh my gosh, absolutely, I'll take it over Rory this week.
Live dog against Rory McIlroy in golf action at the Valero Texas Open. Breaking news on a game we talked about earlier on the show. Oklahoma City Thunder, Philadelphia 76ers. Jalen Williams downgraded out. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander downgraded to questionable. Money pouring in on Philadelphia. The Thunder down to -2/2.5. Let's talk some fighting. Dimitri Ivey, Lucas Brennan, big dog here. Tell us about it.
Okay, so this is the Professional Fighters League, and they run a big tournament in all weight divisions. It lasts months and months and months. So this Thursday starts week 1, and you do have to understand that in order to advance, you get points based on finishing your opponent, how quickly you can finish your opponent. So it's a really cool tournament because these guys are coming out in these first few weeks trying to get as many wins as possible, but also in the quickest fashion. So Lucas Brennan is this massive favorite. Lucas Brennan is a young fighter, and he's fought not very good fighters, and he is a grappler. Like, he's electric to watch because the fight starts and he immediately tries to grapple and get guys down into submissions. He's got a gigantic problem, though, and that's his striking defense. He finally fought a pretty decent fighter in his last fight, and he looked really bad on the feet. Like, it was very obvious his striking defense is very raw and rudimentary at best. He ended up getting a 3rd-round finish. We threw a nice knee and knocked the guy out, but I thought there were a lot of holes in his game. Dimitri Ivey is a journeyman, but he's 34 years old. He's been around a while, and Lucas Brennan goes for submissions, but Dimitri Ivey actually has pretty decent submission defense. I think Ivey keeps this on the feet, and at plus 600, with as bad as Lucas Brennan's striking defense look, do not be surprised if Ivey pops him on the chin once. Lucas Brennan is 9-0 in his career. He's going to lose at some point. I think it's sooner rather than later. Plus 600 is absolutely worth a little bit of a sprinkle based on what I saw in Brennan's last fight.
Andy, real quick here. Listening to your handicap, it feels like Ivy has to knock him out to win. Why aren't we betting the knockout?
Very simple. That line isn't out yet. That's the only reason. So
Okay.
it's a great look. And to your point, Prez, there's a woman fighting. Her name is Dicheva. She's going to knock out her opponent, Lisa Malden. Like, she's like minus 1,500 to win. So just wait. You could take Dicheva to knock out her opponent. Again, you could take Ivy. I guess I wouldn't take the knockout because Ivy could pop him and then jump on him and grab a submission. Ivy has finished guys in the past with submissions. I would just stick with the money line. Just stick with the money line. A 6-1 underdog sprinkle is good enough for me for a little sprinkle.
What do you got going for the clients?
We got a pack up tonight for an NHL and MLB pack. We got one play in each. We're number one on the year in NHL. Units gained, ROI, winning percentage. We're having like the dream NHL season. We dropped a play last night. That was like our first loss in the last 6 bets, I believe. So looking to get back on track tonight. And MLB 4-0, pretty low volume. So 4-0 streak in MLB. That goes off tonight. So we got 2 plays up. Encourage everyone to take advantage of that. And then, like I said, get geared up for the Masters next week. Myself and Nick Borman are going to be really, really pumped, and we're going to have a lot of content, a lot of plays to go over. So next week, I'm very, very excited. But for night, NHL and MLB, 2 winners up at WagerTalk.com.
There we go. Andy Lang, everybody. Thanks for joining us, brother. Always love having you on the show. Teddy, we're only at 45 likes. I swept the board in the presidential address yesterday. You really would think they would want another, but it's okay. I'm good. I'm going to do the penalty box segment at 12:45, 12:50. If we don't get 100 likes, you'll have to watch that instead. I got a big card tonight, dude. I got 2 baseball plays, 1 NBA play, but more importantly, I got 2 hockey plays that I absolutely love. You guys have heard me talk about this before. I don't bet a ton of NHL money line bets. But I am 63% on the season in NHL moneyline bets. And I actually have 2 going tonight. One of them is a 4% play. I'm 75% in these plays. So, guys, not only did I have a shit night last night and won all my free NHL plays, so I'm in revenge. I'm pissed off. I'm mad at Bitcoin. I watched a shitty movie last night. I'm going to have an outstanding night tonight, dude. I'm sweeping tonight. I feel it. And I think it's going to happen. So I'm now done talking. It's time for your big game breakdown. Teddy? Oh, Teddy lost his audio. So you know what then? Let Dave Sherapan joining us. David, how are you, my friend?
What the hell is going on here? What is going on?
You and me, dude. Teddy's having audio problems.
Audio issues.
So it is what it is.
That sounded like a lot of drama, what you were talking about last night. Like the bad movie. I had a shit night. What the hell happened to you? That sounded like nothing but drama. We don't want any drama.
Well,
it's Tuesday. Flex it out. Come on.
Dude, I'll tell you, I'll give you a great movie, though. Heart of a Hunter. It's on Netflix. It's a South African action movie. And I actually thought
like
it was...
you. Is it going to be hard to understand? Do I need the subtitles?
Yes. Yes, you do. Oh, Teddy's back. That's a good thing. Should we exclude him or bring him in?
Oh, give him the big game breakdown. This is what the man does.
Okay, Teddy, go ahead. Your big game breakdown. Then we'll come back to Dave.
Yes, I'll wait.
So I'll give you guys a big game breakdown right now, and then we're going to ask Dave Sherapan about it after I give it. Let's talk MLB. And look, you want to talk low-hanging fruit in MLB baseball? The lowest hanging fruit there is fade the Oakland A's. In particular, fade the Oakland A's at home. I didn't want to talk about starting pitching. I could care less. Cello, Bellows here, doesn't matter. It's not a starting pitching issue for Oakland. This is about a concept. The A's were down 8-0 by the third inning last night. They scored 11 runs this season. Not one game, 5. They have more errors than hits. They just set an MLB, not a record, the most errors in the first 5 games of the season than any team since, I think it was 1906. All right. They're the worst team in baseball, period. They're worse than the Nationals. They're worse than any of their other bottom feeders. They're moving a completely alienated fan base. They went 26-55 at home last year. No other team had fewer than 31 home wins. They were 5 wins worse than the freaking White Sox. They were 9 wins worse at home than the Nats. This team has no home field edge. I shouldn't say that. They're going to bat last in the 9th. Their only win this year came when they batted last in the 9th and walked off. And I'd say maybe half their home wins are going to come from batting last in the 9th and walking off against someone. Then again, the win came thanks to a walk, a hit batsman, another walk. It wasn't anything they did. I think they had one solid single to get that victory. This is a bottom feeder. They're going to hit the road after this series. Can you bet against them at -140 on the road? Not even close. Here you can. Fade the worst teams in any sport at home. Oakland, the #1 home fade team in MLB for me. I'd fade them tonight. Square as square can be. I don't care. Give me the Red Sox. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Dave Sherapan, what do you think? Are you with Teddy on this?
Well, this is the concept. This is the concept I wanted to ask Dave Sherapan. The bookmakers always say we hate baseball season, we hate baseball season, we hate baseball season because of teams like Oakland, right? From a bookmaker standpoint, what do you do with the worst team in the major leagues that everyone wants to bet against every day? How do you book that?
You move the number to get the bots to bet it. You get off the market and go get one of the sharpest guys in the world.
You're in, you're out, Dave.
Price. You move it up. You just move it up.
Yeah, but yet you could move it to the sky, and this happens every year. And it's Teddy. I love that handicap, Dave. I don't care how much they move it. Nobody's jumping on Oakland.
Oh, that's not true. You'll find somebody to bet it. You'll find somebody to bet it. There's a price for everything.
Someone will bet it. That is correct.
Someone will bet it, but that's the only defense that the book has. In a money line sport, that's the only defense that a book has. And see it every year. The guys that bet baseball bet against the bad teams. It's hard. We don't know who the good teams are yet. The Pittsburgh Pirates are 5-0. I get everyone coming at me going, the Pirates aren't even a good team. How do you know they're not a good team? They're 5-0. Okay, well, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I know who's a bad team. Oakland's a bad team. Eddie's right.
Yeah.
They're bad. And they're going to be bad. Colorado, another bad team. Start picking against the bad teams in April if you want to get involved, because it's tough to really know who's good, who's really good. Baseball's a lot of mediocre. There's a lot of middle in baseball.
Well, let me ask you this conceptually, because we were talking about betting on, or at least one of my concepts is I want to bet against the worst teams at home. All right. Yeah, they're going to walk off a couple of times, but you're not laying anywhere near the price betting against bottom feeders. And they don't have, none of them have a home field advantage. The Nationals don't. The White Sox don't. The Royals don't. The A's don't. Doesn't it make sense to fade these teams at home again and again? And are there bettors that look to do that? Or is that just the casual bettors? The wise guys don't even look at that.
No, that's definitely a thing. I think you're getting a much better price. If this game were in Boston, it's -200. It's the same exact pitching matchup. If it's in Boston, it's probably -200. So you have to find your spots. Now, yes, you run the risk of being a home team, getting the last at bat and winning the game, but you're not laying nearly the price. So that's 100%, Teddy. If you're going to play against them at home. Run the risk of, like I said, betting on the visiting team and what comes with that happens. I think you're right. It's a long. I think it's proven over time. I think a lot of people are finding out, like a lot of things in this gambling world, guys like us have been doing this 20, 30 years, like know this stuff. We kind of take it for granted. It's a good thing for the newbies to hear. Not Dan Alexander, newbie talks, not him, but everyone else, yes.
Dave with a funny. Listen, let's get into some college basketball as we don't have a ton of time. There are 2 games going tonight, and obviously a big Saturday ahead of us. Money keeps coming in on UConn. We're now at minus 12.
Yes.
Purdue.
How high do we go for that? How high do we go? You want to talk about moving a number? How do we get a bet on the other side of that game, Prez?
Well, I think you're going to have to go over 13 because 13 is the number that they have beaten everybody by. 13 or more, I think 9 straight games. Look, I'm really hoping for a Purdue-UConn matchup myself. I mean, getting ahead of myself, but I think that's the one team that might give them some trouble. But here we got a UConn minus 12 against Alabama, Purdue minus 9 against NC State. And if you've got any thoughts on the 2 tonight, let us know what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and what you personally like.
Well, I'll tell you what, Indiana State, those are 2 good basketball games tonight. I think the public's going to be on both favorites, and I can't say the public's wrong. Really, Utah game's going over. That's probably the total of the 2. I don't know. Seton Hall feels like that team that's going to be the parlay. They're going to win, and they're going to win again. So right now, that's what people are saying. I'm just saying, guys that are watching the baskets are going Seton Hall's a team to beat in this. I don't know. Indiana State's only thing they've done is get there, and this is right in their neighborhood. So you're going to hear a lot of people talking about Indiana State being the public favorite. But, I mean, it's worse to handle compared to, like, the women's game last night. Can't believe it. That game last night set records for handle. Unbelievable. College basketball.
Well, let's do a little Final Four preview. We did some NIT for tonight. And you said, what line are people going to bet Alabama at? We knew people are going to bet NC State at less than 9, and yet the market's 9, 9.5. That is as clear a sharp square divide game for a Final Four matchup as I've ever seen. All the pros like Purdue, all the Joes like NC State, but all the pros have been betting against NC State pretty regularly for the last couple of weeks and getting their asses kicked. Is that going to happen again here?
Right now, yes. They're looking to lay Purdue. Funny that send out was really interesting. There's a couple of people that I was talking to about the number, and they said, what do you make, 7, 6.5? I'm like, no, got to make it 10 to get a bet on the dog. I think 10 will be the resistance point. Somebody will look to take 10 pregame. So it's going to hover, might bounce. It's not going to go through it, I don't think. It's going to be fun. Listen, NC State may have that magic. They may be that team. I don't think so. I'm with Prez. I want to see the best game Monday night. I want to see someone actually challenge UConn. Who the hell has 30-0 runs? It was like Prez was on the other side of UConn, right? Couldn't get the ball, couldn't make a shot. I ain't never seen Prez play basketball, but I'm assuming that a team of Prez is on the other side. Okay. All right. That's good. You don't shoot hoops?
Oh, I can't stand that sport, dude.
No.
I mean, I do well betting it. But, man, I'm a short, old Jewish guy. Like, no.
Yeah, he's a little guy. That wasn't his sport.
Yeah, dude. No.
Dave,
I prefer
before we
Wingette.
let you go, and of course, you can follow Dave Sherapan on Twitter at SportsBK Consig, Sportsbook Consigliere. Anything stand out to you on today's card? Anything you bet, anything you like, whether it's the NHL, NBA, MLB, or on and on. Give our folks out there something that has piqued your interest on a Tuesday morning.
Well, I'm wearing the Yankees stuff. The Yankees are intriguing because they haven't lost a game either, and they're playing in Arizona, and they're dogs today. So that's one of those ones that I think you play it. It's against Gallen. Gallen at home is a beast, absolute beast. The Pirates are off. They're 5-0. And the only other thing I wanted to ask today was, where were you two last week? I did not get the text or the DM from either one of you. I showed up. I was here. I don't want any drama.
What happened?
And if I got to promote something for 15 seconds, it's Sports BK and Sig, the show Bostonian versus the book. Cash consideration, Sports Grid, Sirius XM. That's all I got. Prez?
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah,
Teddy, what happened last Thursday?
Choke on your sandwich.
You were at Whistler, and I had a meeting with Isaac's principal.
Right. So Andy
first thing in the morning before they let him back into school.
That's right.
Yeah.
Prez.
Oh, what did he do? What did Isaac? Wait, Dave. Shh. What did Isaac do?
He poured a frozen ice. Him and his buddies were playing around, and he poured a frozen ice down his buddy's back, and it was a problem.
Oh my God. Okay, so be it. Dave Sherpan.
2 days he lost for that, and a meeting with the principal. So what are you going to do?
Is that the first piece of trouble Isaac's been in?
No. He's got priors. That was the issue.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Look at Prez
Dave,
smiling.
thanks for joining us, guys.
See you, boys.
Totally insulted, completely hurt, emotionally distraught. Swept the board in the daily presidential address yesterday. 300 plus people watching live. Couldn't get to 100 likes. You'll have to watch the penalty box segment if you want to know my 3 NHL plays. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you all tomorrow. I forgot to take it home, Teddy.